The story begins deep beneath the surface of Valen Prime, an old world once proud and shining, now quiet and half-buried under its own dust. Sunlight breaks through cracks in the stone ceiling, cutting thin beams through the ancient ruins. Dust floats in the air like ghosts of the past. Trell, a young Valini scientist, moves slowly through the tunnels. His breathing mask hisses softly as he climbs over broken walls and fallen pillars. Each step he takes echoes against metal that hasn't been touched in centuries. Unlike most of his people, Trell doesn't like working from a safe lab. He believes that real discovery only happens when you step into danger, when you touch the past with your own hands. He adjusts the small light on his suit and whispers into his comm device. "Still alive, Director Mira. No sign of collapse. I'm moving deeper." Her calm voice answers through the static. "Be careful, Trell. The deeper chambers are unstable. You have until sunset before the security team pulls you out." Trell smiles. He knows she worries, but he's too close to stop now. Small Blue Diamond, the hidden chamber. 3 hours later, he reaches a narrow tunnel blocked by rubble. The scanner on his wrist shows empty space behind the wall. "Maybe a sealed chamber," he mutters. He sets up his portable cutter and begins melting through the rock. The air fills with smoke and sparks. Finally, a hole opens just wide enough for him to crawl through. Inside, the air feels different, cold, clean, untouched. His light flickers across smooth black walls. There's no dust, no mold, no decay. At the center of the room stands a small pedestal, and on it, a device the size of his torso. Its surface is made of a strange metal that seems to glow from within. Trell steps closer, his heart racing. The markings carved into the base are like nothing he has ever seen. He wipes his glove over them, whispering, "What are you?" He quickly calls through the calm, excitement in his voice. "Director Mira, you need to see this. I found something incredible." Small Blue Diamond, the gathering. Within the hour, the chamber fills with people, scientists, technicians, and guards. Bright lights and equipment crowd the small space. Director Mira, tall and calm, stands beside Trell, her eyes reflecting the soft glow of the device. "Remarkable," she whispers. "It's still active after all this time." An older scientist, Professor Lauren, narrows his eyes. "Be careful. This could be unstable." Trell points to the base. "Look at these markings. They don't match any known Valini script. I think this device isn't from our people at all." The professor shakes his head sharply. "Don't say it, Trell. We've heard this theory before, that our ancestors met other worlds. It's fantasy. There's no proof." The room falls quiet. Only the soft hum of the device breaks the silence. Mira looks between them and says, "Whatever its origin, it clearly matters. We'll take it to the central facility. Handle it with care." Trell nods, but his eyes stay fixed on the object. Something about it feels alive. Small Blue Diamond, the experiment. 2 days later, the device sits in the center of the main research lab, surrounded by glowing monitors and humming machines. Trell and his team have been studying it non-stop, trying to understand its purpose. Mira visits every morning. Trell explains what they've learned. It generates power with no visible fuel. And these components, he points to a 3D scan, they seem to receive and transmit signals, but at frequencies no one uses. Mira crosses her arms. "Maybe it's a research tool from the advanced era." He frowns. "Then why design it to talk on frequencies nothing else can hear?" That night, after everyone leaves, Trell stays behind. The lab is silent except for the steady hum of machines. He can't stop thinking about the device, about how it feels like it's waiting for something. He decides to test a theory. He modifies a scanner to send a pulse pattern similar to old Valini data streams. He connects the cable, checks the levels, and activates the pulse. Small Blue Diamond, the awakening. At first, nothing happens. Then, the glow deep inside the device brightens, slowly at first, then faster. Trell steps back, eyes wide. Panels slide open silently, revealing an intricate surface of shifting lights. Symbols appear, glowing lines forming shapes and circles that move like living code. "It worked," Trell whispers, barely breathing. He records everything on his datapad. He reaches out, hesitates, then touches the surface. The lights respond to his touch. The symbols pulse faster, spinning outward. A deep hum fills the room and the air crackles with energy. Monitors flash warnings. Power readings spike. The device releases a single, sharp tone, a sound so deep it shakes the walls. Then silence. A single light on the device remains glowing, a steady blue pulse. Small Blue Diamond, the hook moment. In the quiet lab, Trell stares at the display. Data fills his screen, waves of strange frequencies moving outward from the planet. He zooms in. The pattern isn't random. It's a message. He whispers, almost afraid to say it out loud. It's transmitting. The camera would slowly pan upward, through the ceiling, past the clouds into the dark sky, following the invisible wave as it leaves Valen Prime. Across the cold vacuum of space, the signal travels, passing dead worlds and forgotten stars, until, somewhere far away, something stirs. A machine turns. A light blinks. A human voice, distorted by distance and static, answers. "This is Earth Command, who are you?" And that's how it began, when aliens called the wrong species, and humanity answered the call. The next morning began like any other on Valen Prime, cold winds sweeping through the silver towers of the capital, the twin suns rising over red mountains. But inside the central research facility, nothing felt normal. The air was heavy with tension. Trell stood in front of the glowing device, now sealed inside a transparent chamber. The same device he had activated the night before. Its soft blue light pulsed slowly like a heartbeat. Every few seconds the monitors around it flickered, faint lines of unreadable code flashing and vanishing too quickly to capture. Director Mira entered the room with her usual calm but sharp expression. "Report," she said simply. Trell straightened. "It's been active for 7 hours, Director. We've detected continuous energy output, but no heat, no radiation, nothing harmful. It's transmitting something." "Transmitting?" Mira repeated, stepping closer. He nodded. "Yes. It's sending a signal into deep space. We tried to block it, but the energy field around the device resists every attempt." A low murmur spread among the technicians. Some looked nervous, others excited. The thought that an ancient relic was speaking to the stars filled them with both wonder and fear. Mira folded her arms. "Can we trace where it's sending the signal?" "Not exactly," said Trell. "The frequency is unlike anything in our communication systems. It's far beyond our range, but it's directed toward the outer spiral arm of the galaxy." Professor L, the oldest scientist in the team, grunted. "Then it's wasting its time. Nothing lives out there." But just as he spoke, one of the monitors began to beep rapidly. The room went silent. Trell leaned forward, his eyes wide. "Director, we're receiving something." Every screen filled with static. A deep humming filled the air, low, metallic, and growing louder. The energy readings spiked. Lights flickered across the lab as if the device itself was answering. The hum turned into broken sounds, a rhythm, then fragments of voice. "Allo, test this." Mira's eyes widened. "Is that a language?" Trell adjusted the translator. "It's not Valini. Not any dialect we know." The voice came again, clearer this time, metallic but alive. "Origin unknown. Coordinates locked. Preparing connection." The words repeated again and again, each time with more clarity. The tone was neither friendly nor hostile. Just deliberate. The scientists exchanged worried glances. "What does it mean by preparing connection?" Mira asked. Before anyone could answer, the lab lights began to flicker. Power readings jumped to dangerous levels. One of the technicians shouted, "It's responding to us. The signal is bouncing back." Trell's heart pounded. "Director, it's not just sending, it's receiving." A sharp burst of static filled the air. The holographic screens flashed white, then black, then white again. And then, everything stopped. Silence. Even the machine's glow dimmed to a faint pulse. Everyone stood frozen, afraid to move. Then, a new sound. Soft at first, like a whisper through broken radio waves. It grew clearer, stronger. A voice, firm, confident, unmistakably different. "This is Earth Command," it said. "Unknown signal detected. Identify yourself." For a moment, no one breathed. The words hung in the air like a shockwave. Trell stared at the monitors, his hands trembling. "Earth Command," he whispered. No one in the room had ever heard that word. Earth. It wasn't in any galactic record, any archive, any legend. Mira frowned deeply. "Run a search in the historical database." "Any mention of Earth?" The assistant's fingers flew over the console. After a moment he shook his head. "Nothing, Director. It doesn't exist." The voice came again, louder, clearer. "We repeat, this is Earth Command. Identify your transmission source. You are broadcasting on a restricted frequency." Trell felt a chill crawl down his spine. Whoever this was, they were alive. And intelligent. Professor L stepped back, shaking his head. "This is impossible. No known species uses that kind of speech pattern. The syntax, it's different. Aggressive. Mira leaned closer to the device. Can we respond? We can try, said Trell, adjusting the translator's return channel. But we don't know their communication structure. A wrong signal might be seen as hostile. Do it, Mira said quietly. We must know who they are. Trell hesitated for only a moment. Then he pressed the control pad and spoke slowly, carefully. This is Director Mira of the Valini Research Council. We received your message. Who are you? Static filled the speakers. Seconds passed. No response. Then the human voice returned, steady but laced with confusion. This is Captain Arya Kane of Earth Command Fleet. We intercepted a signal from your world. Your transmission matches no known alliance code. Are you requesting aid? The room went utterly silent. Professor L whispered, They think we called for help. Trell's mind raced. He looked at the glowing device. No, he said softly. We didn't call them. We called someone else. Mira turned sharply toward him. What do you mean? He pointed to the base of the device, where strange symbols pulsed faintly under the light. These are coordinates, he said. The signal wasn't meant for us. This machine was made to reach another species, thousands of years ago. The device flickered again, its energy readings rising rapidly. Trell took a step back. Director, it's not finished yet. The human voice cut in once more, urgent this time. Unidentified signal, your message has triggered an automatic relay. We are detecting massive energy buildup on your world. Please respond. The ground trembled slightly beneath their feet. The device shone brighter, a humming vibration filling the air. Trell looked at Mira, fear and awe in his eyes. Director, I think it's opening a channel. And as the light engulfed the room, one thought echoed through every Valini mind. They hadn't just found the past. They had awakened something waiting beyond the stars. The light faded slowly. For several seconds no one moved. The strange humming from the device stopped, leaving only the sound of distant machinery. Trell blinked, trying to clear his vision. The lab was filled with smoke and the faint smell of burned metal. Director Mira coughed and waved the air clear. Report, she ordered. Technicians scrambled back to their consoles. Monitors rebooted, one after another, showing static and broken readings. The once stable energy field now pulsed violently, like a heart beating too fast. Power surge, one of them shouted. But no explosion. The device is stable, barely. Trell leaned closer to the chamber. The device was glowing brighter than ever before. Symbols crawled across its surface, forming patterns he couldn't understand. Yet deep inside he felt it wasn't random. It was communicating. Then the human voice came again, calm, firm and commanding. This is Captain Arya Kane of the Earth Command Exploration Fleet. We've locked onto your signal. Please confirm your identity. Everyone in the lab froze. Trell looked at Director Mira. Her silver eyes reflected the blue glow of the machine. They found us, she whispered. Professor L spoke up sharply. Shut it down before they trace our location. We don't know who these beings are. Trell shook his head. We can't. It's linked directly to their frequency now. If we cut the power, we might destroy it completely. Mira hesitated. Her instincts told her to end it, to protect her people. But curiosity, the same force that drove Trell, stopped her. Patch the voice through the main channel, she said. Let's hear them clearly. The lab filled with static, then the human voice again, clearer this time. This is Earth Command. You initiated a galactic broadcast on an ancient distress frequency. Identify your species. Trell swallowed hard. They think we sent a distress call. Mira took a deep breath. Then tell them the truth. Trell adjusted the translator and spoke carefully into the comm line. This is Director Mira of the Valini Research Council. We received your message by accident. We are a peaceful scientific colony. The response came almost instantly. Valini? Unknown classification. You claim accidental activation. Explain your purpose. The human's tone wasn't hostile, but it was firm, professional, military. Their words carried discipline, control, and suspicion. Trell felt the weight of each sentence. We were studying an ancient artifact. It began transmitting on its own. We didn't mean to contact anyone. Static crackled again. Then came a pause, the kind that made everyone in the room tense. Acknowledged, the voice said at last. Remain where you are. Do not interfere with the signal. A vessel is en route to your coordinates. Mira's eyes widened. A vessel? Professor L slammed his hand on the table. They're coming here. This is an invasion. Panic spread among the team. Technicians shouted, trying to trace the incoming ship. Alarms began to flash across the base. The signal was acting as a beacon, broadcasting their location to space. Trell felt a cold knot form in his chest. "Director, we have to make contact again. We can't let them come without understanding their intentions." But Mira was already contacting the Planetary Council. Her voice was calm, but her face was pale. "This is Director Mira. We've made unintentional first contact with an unknown species calling themselves humans. They claim to be responding to a distress signal. They are sending a ship." The Council's response came fast. "Seal your facility. Cut power to the device immediately. No further communication. We cannot risk alien interference." Trell's heart sank. "If we shut it down, they'll think we're hostile." Mira didn't answer. She turned to him quietly. "Trell, I know what you believe, that this could change our history. But the Council fears the unknown more than they value discovery." Before she could give the shutdown order, the ground trembled. The lights flickered again. Monitors filled with readings of massive spatial distortion above the planet. A technician gasped. "Director, something just dropped out of faster-than-light travel." On the main screen, a live feed showed the sky. A massive dark shape appeared above the clouds, metallic, angular, glowing with blue engine trails. It blocked out the twin suns as it descended through the atmosphere. The entire facility fell silent. "Director Mira," the human voice came again, stronger now. "We are entering your orbit. Do not be alarmed. We detected an unstable signal from your location and are here to assist." Mira stared at the screen. "Assist, or occupy?" she whispered. Trell couldn't take his eyes off the descending ship. It was unlike anything he'd ever seen, smooth, powerful, precise. Not like the chaotic Vellini designs of old. These beings were far more advanced. The human ship hovered in orbit, releasing a smaller craft that began to descend toward the surface. The Vellini military activated defense grids across the region, but Mira sent a quick override. "Stand down. No weapons." Professor L grabbed her arm. "You're welcoming the invaders?" "I'm welcoming understanding," she replied coldly. "If they wanted to destroy us, they wouldn't have spoken first." The smaller craft landed outside the ruins. Dust clouds rose into the air as the hatch opened. A figure stepped out, tall, wearing a metallic suit that shimmered in the light. A helmet reflected the alien landscape. Trell and Mira watched through the observation window as the human figure slowly approached the entrance of their facility. Communication devices crackled. "This is Captain Arya Kane. I come in peace. We detected an ancient relay call from this site. Please confirm your status." The guards at the door hesitated, unsure whether to respond. Mira finally activated the external channel. "This is Director Mira," she said. "You are speaking to the Vellini. We welcome you to our world." There was a pause, then a faint smile in the human captain's voice. "Thank you, Director. I believe your people may have just reactivated something that was never meant to be silent." Trell's stomach tightened. "Never meant to be silent?" he repeated under his breath. He turned to the glowing device, now pulsing steadily again. On the base, new symbols appeared, forming strange coordinates neither Vellini nor human systems could recognize. The captain's voice came through one last time. "We ran a scan of your signal. It's not just a message, it's a map." Everyone in the room looked at the device in stunned silence. A map. To what, or who, none of them yet knew. But one thing was certain. The first contact was no accident. Someone, or something, had wanted this connection all along. The sun rose over the Vellini capital, casting golden light across the mountains. But this sunrise was not peaceful. Every communication tower, every scanner, every citizen, all were tuned to one single event. First contact. The humans had arrived. The enormous Earth Command vessel hung in orbit like a silent guardian, its silver hull gleaming against the twin suns. Below, the Vellini cities were filled with fear and curiosity. People stood in streets, staring up at the bright shape in the sky that didn't belong there. Inside the research facility, Director Mira and Trell watched as Captain Arya Kane, the human commander, stepped through the security chamber. Her suit shimmered, adapting to the Vellini atmosphere. Behind her, two human officers followed, carrying small scanning drones that floated quietly beside them. Trell had never seen creatures like them before. Their features were strong, angular, but their eyes carried something unexpected, warmth and focus. These were not monsters or conquerors. They were explorers. Mira greeted them cautiously. "Welcome to Vallon Prime, Captain Kane." Kane removed her helmet slowly. Her hair fell to her shoulders, and she looked directly at Mira with calm confidence. "Director Mira," she said, her voice steady, "we detected your signal from nearly 20 light-years away. It matched a lost distress frequency, one known to human history for centuries." Trell blinked. "You mean, you've heard this before?" Kane nodded. "Yes. We found records of this same signal, but ancient ones. It was believed to be a myth, a remnant of an old alliance between civilizations that once stood together, and then vanished." The Valini scientists exchanged confused looks. Mira frowned. "Alliance? We have no such record." "That doesn't surprise me," Kane said quietly. "The records we found were fragmented. They called it the Concord. A union of 5 species who faced something so dangerous that even mentioning it became forbidden." Trell stepped closer to the glowing device in the center of the lab. "You think this was part of that alliance?" The human captain studied it. The holographic interface reflected in her eyes. "Yes," she said finally. "And it's still transmitting. Not just to us, to someone else." A heavy silence filled the room. Mira spoke first. "Someone else? Who?" Kane didn't answer right away. She tapped her wrist console, projecting a 3D map into the air. Lines of blue light stretched across space, connecting stars and systems. At the center, Valen Prime. At the far edge, dozens of unknown coordinates blinking faintly. "This is what your device sent," Kane explained. "It's a star map, showing the old Concord worlds. But 3 of these coordinates started emitting signals after your activation." Trell's voice was almost a whisper. "We woke them up." Kane nodded grimly. "Whatever this is, it's bigger than just your discovery." Outside, the twin suns passed overhead as humans and Valini worked side by side. Their scientists exchanged data, comparing languages, energy readings, and star positions. Despite the tension, both sides shared a single goal: understanding the device before anything else responded. Later that evening, Trell found Captain Kane standing near the observation window, staring at the stars. "Do your people always answer signals from unknown worlds?" he asked quietly. She smiled faintly. "No. Usually we ignore them. But this one felt different. The moment we decoded the frequency, some of our oldest archives reacted, as if our systems remembered it." "Remembered?" Trell frowned. "Machines can't remember." Kane looked at him. "Ours can. Some of our AI cores were built from recovered alien code. We never knew where it came from, until now." Trell felt a chill. "You mean part of your technology came from us?" "Maybe," she said. "Or from whoever built this device before either of our species existed." They stood in silence for a while. The stars shimmered like distant eyes watching them. Suddenly, alarms blared through the base. A Valini officer rushed in. "Director Mira. We're detecting energy spikes near the outer moons." Kane turned instantly. "Show me." The main holographic display lit up, showing massive distortions forming in orbit. Dozens of dark signatures appeared, one after another, moving in perfect formation. No communication. No identification. Just silent, cold motion. Trell's voice trembled. "Those aren't ours." Kane's eyes narrowed. "Then someone else answered your call." A sudden wave of static filled every speaker in the room. The lights flickered, and a new sound emerged, low, guttural, almost insect-like. A broken transmission echoed through the system. "The signal, restored, the prey returns." Everyone froze. Mira whispered, "What was that?" Kane drew a deep breath. "Something we hope to never hear again." She turned to her officers. "Give me the ship. Full defense readiness. Now." Within seconds, the humans' vessel shifted position above the planet, deploying drone defenses and power shields. The Valini military scrambled to respond, confusion spreading across their command channels. Trell looked at Mira. "They're coming, aren't they?" Mira nodded slowly. "Whoever they are, the device called them too." The lab shook slightly as distant thunder rolled across the mountains. Not weather, but the sound of energy weapons charging far above the clouds. Captain Kane faced the holographic star map again. "The Concord fell because they were not ready," she said quietly. "But we are not them. Humanity answers every call, even the wrong ones." Trell stared at her, realizing what she meant. The humans weren't running. They were preparing to fight. The lights dimmed. Outside, the sky darkened as shadowy shapes broke through the upper atmosphere, ships like black blades, their hulls pulsing with sickly green light. Each one alive. Each one ancient. Mira whispered, "The Devourers." Kane looked at her sharply. You know them? Only from myths, Mira said. Stories of monsters that consumed worlds during the Great Silence. Well, Kane said, locking her helmet into place, those stories are about to come true again. The human captain turned toward the exit, her voice steady but hard. You found the past, Director Mira. But the past isn't done with any of us. Trell watched her go, the hum of her armor fading down the corridor. He turned back to the ancient device, still glowing faintly on the pedestal. Its symbols had changed again, one phrase repeating in both Velini and human script. They have heard the call. The screen flickered. Outside, the first explosion lit up the sky. Humanity had answered. And the galaxy would never be the same again. The night sky burned. From the mountains, people watched fire streak across the heavens, trails of plasma and light twisting above the clouds. The Devourers had returned. Their ships moved like living shadows, black wings unfolding, releasing storms of green energy. The human flagship, Sol Vanguard, took the first hit, shields flaring blue as the shockwave rippled through orbit. Inside the Velini command center, chaos reigned. Orders shouted. Systems failing. The ground trembling. Trell clutched the edge of a console as sparks rained from the ceiling. Status of the humans? He shouted. Still holding position, a Velini officer replied. They're protecting our satellites. Director Mira's voice was firm despite the fear around her. Get every research team underground. That device stays secure. In orbit, Captain Arya Kane stood on her bridge, her expression calm, eyes locked on the battlefield. Target the largest ship, she ordered. Use the rail lances, aim for the central organ cluster. Her weapons officer hesitated. Ma'am, we don't even know if those are ships. Kane's reply was cold and certain. They bleed. That's all we need to know. The Vanguard's forward cannons roared. Twin beams of white plasma lanced through the void, striking one of the black shapes. It convulsed, tearing apart in silence, a creature screaming in the vacuum of space. But for every one that fell, two more appeared. Small blue diamond beneath the surface. Far below the chaos in the research vault, Trell and a small team worked desperately around the ancient device. Its surface was no longer still, glowing lines of light pulsed through it like veins. It's reacting to the battle, Trell said. Almost as if it's listening. The symbols on the holographic display changed again. Words began to form, not in Velini or human but both mixed together. The Concord was betrayed. The signal is a warning. The Hive has awakened. Mira stepped back. The Hive? The same name from your records, Captain Kane mentioned. Trell's voice trembled. If this is a warning, why activate now? Why send it again? A low hum filled the air, deeper than before. The device lifted off the pedestal, rotating slowly. The walls around them shimmered with projections, images of 5 different species, standing together before a blazing star. The last Concord. Then the images shifted, one by one the species fell. Their worlds consumed. The final image froze on a single surviving ship, sending out a desperate signal, the same 3 blinking pulses that had begun it all. 3 flashes. Silence. 3 flashes. Silence. Trell's eyes widened. It wasn't a call for help. It was a memory. Mira shook her head slowly. No. It was both. Someone built this to remember the end, and to warn the next ones. Small blue diamond orbit, humanity fights on. Above the planet, the Sol Vanguard fought alone. Energy beams ripped through the void. Metal screamed. The ship's hull glowed red-hot. Shields collapsing. Port side breached. Captain, we can't hold much longer. Kane stood firm, smoke and fire around her. Focus all batteries on their leader. We buy time for the planet. Buy time for what? Her lieutenant shouted. Kane glanced at the live feed from the research base. The glowing device filled the screen, light spilling out like a small sun. For whatever that thing's about to do. Small blue diamond the revelation. In the vault, the air vibrated. The device's hum grew into a deep resonance that shook the walls. Trell's instruments flickered, then died. Energy outputs beyond anything we've seen. It's rewriting the local field. Mira shielded her eyes. What's it doing? A voice echoed through the chamber, neither human nor Velini, but something ancient, layered with countless tones. We left this to you. Our fall was not the end. The Concord will rise again. Trell stared as the holograms reformed, showing the destroyed Concord fleet merging into a single burst of light that spread across the galaxy. The device isn't just a warning, he whispered. It's a key. Mira turned to him. A key to what? Before he could answer, the device released a blinding pulse. A beam of pure white energy shot upward, piercing through rock, atmosphere, and into space, striking the Soul Vanguard. Kane shielded her eyes as her ship was enveloped in light. What the? Her sensors went wild. Energy readings off the charts. The enemy ships froze mid-attack, their movements disrupted. The green light in their bodies flickered violently, like insects caught in fire. The pulse spread further, connecting with each devourer vessel, and then all at once they shattered. Not exploded, disintegrated, turning into streams of golden dust that vanished into the void. The skies above Valen Prime cleared. Silence followed. Small blue diamond aftermath. Hours later the fires were gone. The world was quiet again. Captain Kane walked through the ruined corridors of the research base, helmet off, exhaustion in her eyes. She found Trell and Mira standing by the now-dark device. It shut down completely after the pulse, Trell said. Whatever it did, it saved us. Kane studied the cracked metal surface. Or used us. Mira frowned. Used us. Every activation leaves a trace, Kane said. Your planet sent the signal. We answered. The device reacted. Maybe it needed both species, descendants of the Concord, to awaken. Trell looked at her. Descendants? Are you saying humans and Valini? Kane nodded slowly. Might share something older than either of us knows. Mira stepped closer to the device. A single new symbol glowed faintly, one that neither translation system could decode. But Kane's wrist console did. She read the translation aloud. They will come again. Prepare the stars. No one spoke. Outside, the twin suns rose once more, bathing the mountains in light. The war was over, for now. But every radar station, every telescope, every listening array on Valen Prime and Earth stayed locked on the heavens. Because somewhere out in the dark, something had heard the signal too. 2 weeks after the Battle of Valen Prime, the skies were calm again, but no one felt safe. Every night, Trell still heard the echo of the pulse, that sound like thunder rolling through space, waking something far beyond the stars. The ancient device lay silent in the underground chamber, its glow gone, its surface cold. Yet deep inside, sensors whispered of faint activity, patterns repeating, waiting. Director Mira stood beside it, her face half lit by the blue screens. Since the activation, she said softly, our long-range arrays keep picking up new signals. 4 of them, spread across the outer sectors. Captain Arya Kane folded her arms. 4? Like coordinates? Mira nodded. Exactly. The message it left said they will come again. Prepare the stars. Maybe these are warnings, or invitations. Trell leaned closer to the projection. What if they're pieces of something bigger, parts of whatever the Concord once was? No one answered. Outside, the red sun began to rise, painting the horizon in fire. Small blue diamond, the search begins. The humans and Valini had done what neither believed possible. They had formed an alliance. In orbit, construction drones from both species worked side by side, repairing the Soul Vanguard. Human engineers argued with Valini technicians, translators buzzing in between. Despite the tension, they worked faster than ever. Kane stood on the observation deck, watching a new emblem being painted on the ship's hull. A circle split in 2 halves, human and Valini symbols intertwined. Joint expedition, Mira said, stepping beside her. Our first since the ancient wars. Kane gave a small smile. Let's hope it doesn't end the same way. Trell approached, carrying a small data crystal. I finished decoding the remaining fragments. Each coordinate points to a dead world. No atmosphere, no life. But the energy readings are strange. How strange? Kane asked. They match the same frequency as the Concord device, Trell said quietly. It's like there are 4 more out there, waiting to wake up. Small blue diamond first jump. Hours later, the Vanguard prepared for departure. The Valini called it the Journey of Return. Humans called it Operation Dawnstar. The engines roared, and the stars stretched into long lines of light as the ship leapt into warp. When they arrived, there was only darkness, a silent moon orbiting a shattered planet. Kane frowned. Nothing on the scanners. Trell looked closer. No, wait, look at the surface, those shapes. The same ruins we found on Valen Prime. They descended, landing among the ruins. Dust and silence greeted them. Inside a broken temple, Trell brushed off layers of rock to reveal another device. Smaller, cracked, but still faintly alive. It's the same design, he whispered. But different inscriptions. He activated a scanner. The room flickered with holograms, images of alien faces none of them recognized. These aren't Velini, Mira said, astonished. Another species from the Concord. Suddenly the device reacted to their presence. Symbols lit up, forming a map, a huge star chart showing dozens of systems across the galaxy. At the center glowed 5 lights. 2 now pulsed brightly. The others were dark. The message spreads, Trell said. Each time one wakes, it calls the others. Small blue diamond, a shadow in the void. Back on the Vanguard, the crew analyzed the data. The coordinates of the third site appeared in the outer rim, but it wasn't empty. Kane frowned at the readings. Gravitational anomalies. Distortions. Something's there. Before they could jump, the lights dimmed. The ship's alarms blared. Unknown signal detected, shouted the navigator. It's on our frequency, the Concord frequency. Trell stared at the screen. That's impossible. No one else should have it. A chilling voice echoed through the comms, distorted, deep, mechanical. Children of the Concord, you should have stayed silent. The crew froze. Mira whispered, who is that? Kane's expression hardened. Track the source. But before they could, the transmission cut off, leaving only static. Moments later, their sensors picked up something else. A massive energy surge in the same sector as the third coordinate. Trell's voice broke the silence. Whatever is out there, it already knows we're coming. Small blue diamond, the forgotten truth. Later that night, Trell stood in his cabin, staring at the old recordings from the first device, the holograms of the Concord's fall. He slowed the footage, zooming in on one of the alien figures standing beside the Velini ancestors. Its armor bore strange markings, a spiral inside a star. He compared it to a symbol on the Vanguard's transmission logs. The one that appeared during the hostile message was the same. His heart pounded. He ran to the command deck. Director Mira. Captain Kane. The enemy, the ones who destroyed the Concord, they weren't the Hive. Kane turned sharply. Then who? The Concord itself, Trell said, breathless. They turned on each other. One faction built the Hive to wipe the others out, and they succeeded. The bridge fell silent. Mira spoke quietly. Then that means what attacked us might not be gone. The Hive may just be their weapon, still following orders after thousands of years. Kane stared into the stars. And if that's true, we're about to wake their masters. Small blue diamond, the final message. Back in the research chamber, the first Concord device flickered again, faint light pulsing in rhythm. A final line of text appeared across its surface. 4 will rise. 1 will betray. The stars will remember. The signal repeated once, then went silent forever.